Welcome to the 2018 Global Healthy Workplace Awards. My name is Wolf Kirsten, and I'm the co-director of the Global Center for Healthy Workplaces, and I will provide you with a tutorial on how to apply to the Global Healthy Workplace Awards. A little background to the Global Center. The Global Center was created 7 years ago and supports the advancement of workplace health and well-being through a series of initiatives designed to enhance shared learning, recognition, and replication. The two main organizations behind the Global Center are iGenius and Tommy Hutchinson, and International Health Consulting with Wolf Kirsten, which is myself. As you can see here, we have a number of different partners who have been supporting the Global Center activities, especially the awards and the summit over the past few years. Also, I would like to introduce you to our advisory board. Very talented, distinguished, experienced, and diverse group, global in its setup from different continents and regions, and have been very useful in terms of setting the direction and giving us advice along the way. But let me get into the global awards, because this is what the tutorial is all about. So first off, who can apply? The Global Awards is not just for quote-unquote global organizations. It's open to all employers or employer organizations, for-profit, non-profit, different sizes as you see here, different industries. It doesn't matter where and how you come from. There are three main categories as you see here in terms of applying. SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, which have less than 500 employees and who run exemplary programs. Then we have our large enterprise category, which is anything over 500 employees. And then we have our multinational category, which are employers with employees in different countries and who also run great programs across multiple worksite locations and countries. And at the bottom here, you see our website address, globalhealthyworkplace.org, where all the relevant information is provided and where you can apply. Now, of course, the criteria are very important in terms of the Global Awards. What do you have to watch out for? What do you need to cover with your programs and with your strategy? Our awards program, the Global Awards program, is very closely aligned with the WHO Healthy Workplace Model, World Health Organization Healthy Workplace Model. I should say here at this stage, at this point, that the WHO does not endorse the awards program in any manner. As you see in the bottom left here, the disclaimer. I wanted to point that out and to be very clear about it. Now, what is the healthy workplace model all about? I will start at the center, ethics and values. So we do ask questions about ethics and values, some very basic ones, quote unquote basic, I should say. Human rights, or do you comply by legislation? Health and social codes or regulations within your country or in different countries. That is always very important and doesn't often get asked in awards programs. Then we have leadership engagement and worker involvement. This has shown to be, both aspects have shown to be very important in determining the success of a workplace program. So if your top leaders or your senior leadership is not engaged, does not fully support the program, is not visible around it, success is unlikely. Same with worker involvement. If the workers, the employees, are not involved from the get-go, actively involved, planning the program, implementing the program, communicating the program, also unlikely to succeed. So that's important to document in your application. Now, one circle further out, you'll see the continuous improvement cycle. I think most of us are very familiar with it. There's several steps here: mobilize, assemble, assess, prioritize, plan, do, evaluate, and then improve, as it is an improvement cycle. Also, very important to point out the various steps that you've followed or have been following in implementing your programs and activities. And of course, I will come to that later, but of course, the evaluation is very important because you want to show outcomes. You want to show results. You know, have you been able to improve the health of your employees? Have you been able to reduce absenteeism or improve productivity? All those things are important. You have to show some kind of result or outcomes that will definitely bolster or strengthen your application. Now coming to the four main big circles on the outside that you see here. First of all, I should emphasize that they're connected, and there's always an overlap. So there are, of course, areas which belong to, or programs which belong to, several different components of these models. So let me start at the top. Physical work environment. These are typically programs which fall under occupational health and safety. So noise, the air, or dust. Is the workplace safe for the employee? What are kind of the programs around that? What are the systems? Many companies these days have very sophisticated health and safety systems and are certified in that area as well, whether ISO or OHSAS. They show these systems and they are certified in them, and it's very important because that's kind of one of the basics for companies to provide health and safe workplaces, so they don't get unhealthy or ill once they come out of the workplace each day or after several years and so on. Let me go to the left, the psychosocial work environment. This is an area which has received a lot of attention, or growing attention, I should say, in more recent times, maybe 5 to 10 years. Research has been around for a long time, but in terms of policy and actual companies and programs, the focus. Now, for example, if you do a risk assessment and you do a workplace risk assessment, as you would do under a physical work environment, what about the psychosocial work environment? How is work organized? How is the relationship to your colleagues, to your boss, to your superior? Is there any bullying or harassment at the workplace going on? Do you have opportunities to advance career development? Is your job clear? Do you know what to do? Do you actually identify with your employer and your job? All those things, and there's a number more. These psychosocial factors are very important, and a growing number of companies actually now conduct psychosocial risk assessments to find out, are there any risks, and what can we do about them? Can we manage them? Can we eliminate them? Which is often is not the case, but can we manage and address them and improve them? Personal health resources on the right. Now this is where all the wellness programs, lifestyle management programs would fall under, individualized health and well-being programs. Very important. As we know, the workplace is a key setting, a very important setting to improve health, individual health, and with that, population health. And many companies have been quite successful addressing that through some assessments, some screening, and some pretty innovative programs, both digital, virtual, and of course face-to-face, and have created some good outcomes around that. And last but not least, at the bottom, the enterprise community involvement. And this is where the employer shows their attention or care for the community in which they work. Do they hopefully not do any harm, of course, as a company, and the environment is always a big area in relation to health, but other areas too. Do they actually take an active role in the community, whether it's providing screenings or as an extension to their health programs, whether it's dependents or the larger part of the community have access to that? What do they do, and do they play a conscious role in the community or communities they work in or they do business in? I will continue to mention these four areas and also the continuous improvement cycle as we move on. But this is very important. I just wanted to emphasize that an application which has excellent, superior occupational health and safety systems and management, but on the other hand, do not really do that much on the personal health side for their employees, will not score high on the application. And of course, that can be vice versa. So covering all of these four areas in some way or the other, of course, there are priorities given the industry, the country, the culture, and so on. Won't always be the same or the equal weighting, but it's important to address all four. So kind of summarizing what I just went through, evaluation criteria, it's important to show that your programs cover the four main areas, as I just described: physical work environment, psychosocial work environment, personal health resources and well-being, enterprise community involvement. I emphasize the leadership commitment and engagement, as well as the worker involvement. Business ethics and legality. I think this is important. Again, it may seem basic to a number of employers, but of course, we need to ask that, and it's very important. And as we know, unfortunately, that's not always the case. It doesn't always happen. Sustainability and integration. So integration targets or addresses that the programs in the various areas that we just discussed, are they integrated? Do they not work in silos? As many of you know, the silo thinking still persists. So you may have HR driving programs here, occupational health and safety driving programs over here, and then you may have another diversity program on the way other side. So where's the integration within a company, and how does that work? That needs to be also documented. And then sustainability in terms of, is the program sustainable? Is it not a one-off? Questions like, do you have a dedicated budget or a person or a committee actually addressing health and well-being, health and wellness, health and safety? So that's very important to document as well, to make sure to show that it's not just an add-on, a nice to have, a one-off, which again, still many companies do follow that kind of approach. I did mention the continuous improvement cycle. Very important to show that, the assessment, the programs, the planning, and then of course the outcomes. And is it replicable in any way? Because that's, again, goes back to the mission of our center, the enhanced sharing and learning between companies and employers. So if you can show that, that would be also very good. How can other companies learn from your experience? I should say about the multinational category, it's a little different because you do have to document that your strategy, programs, and policies have a global reach and continuously strive towards the above mentioned quality criteria across countries. So, it's not easy to do. So some companies have a very strong program at home in their home country, but haven't been able to really extend the good programs and successes to other countries. So I know it's difficult to do, and not every country will have the same type of program or access even to services. The larger you are, the harder it is to do, but you do need to show there is a conscious effort behind that and kind of the progress that you've been able to make over the years. Of course, you would like to know who is judging this, who is looking at your application. So these are our Global Awards judges, and I should say 2018 on top. And again, a very distinguished group we have brought together. They actually come from different backgrounds, which it makes it, I think, because healthy workplace is a pretty complex area. So I think that's a strength, coming from different backgrounds, and of course, different cultures in different countries. So as you will have noticed, we're very conscious about having a truly global representation. So you can see here we have 5 different, if not 6 continents represented, and each judge brings that special experience and also cultural experience to the table. Some basic requirements which I think are really important to point out. So I mentioned this earlier on. All applying organizations adhere to workers' social and ethical codes as part of their role in the broader community and enforce occupational health codes and laws. So compliance. Applicants can be private, public, or nonprofit organizations. Like I said, all of the above, any kind of employer. But I should say the programs need to be based in the workplace. So we've had some inquiries or requests from vendors about their programs or platforms that they offer. They may be very good, but they have to actually submit the application, I should put it this way, the application needs to come from the employer, from themselves. So they may be using a certain service, a certain vendor, and usually they use several or many, but that's how it should be placed or described, not directly coming from a vendor and introducing their program. Applicants must be willing to provide information on the website, on our website, and other outlets selected by the host organizations. So we, of course, will always communicate with the eventual finalists or award winners on terms of how this will be shared. But straight up, there should be a basic willingness to do that. And you would think so by applying and sharing some information. There is this basic willingness, but we need to ask companies that they are willing to share some of that. And of course, that will not include any confidential data. And I know there's a process for many companies getting around that, and we will follow that. Applicants must be willing to participate in ongoing profiling for a minimum of 12 months. So basically, I think most companies and employers would have an interest in this, especially if they win the award or are highly recognized, to be visible at webinars, potential seminars, our newsletters, of course, social media. On the website, we have a robust profiles and good practices section, those kinds of things. And again, mission, enhanced learning, sharing, replication if possible. So that's our mission, and we like to follow that. Applicants will not use more than the prescribed amount of supporting materials. There will be some information on that in the application form. We just want to avoid companies just loading us with reams of documents or attachments, which can happen. And that, of course, makes it unmanageable for us, for the judges, for everybody else. So please do abide to that specific advice or guidance within the application form. And then finalists are ready to attend the 2018 Global Awards Summit to present their program. I should mention this because our awards program is a little different from most other national awards programs. And that is that 2 finalists per category from the 3 categories I described earlier will be invited to the awards summit to present. And the final decision on who will win the actual award will be made on site. So we don't know, you don't know, nobody knows who's going to win the award at that point. Of course, there is a pre-scoring which will provide the bulk of the points eventually being scored. However, there is a portion which counts on site. So your presentation and how you answer questions, and the judges will be there on site to ask those questions. So that's actually a pretty important portion of the entire process, and I think it makes it a very interesting and exciting process. These are some of our past awards summits, global awards summits, and here you can see some of the winners. And we've had some, I should say all of them are great companies as they won the award. Some are more known than others in terms of some of the bigger companies, as you can see here. At the same time, some excellent smaller companies, which you may have not heard of. Which excite us every year again, and not just the winners or finalists, as you see here, but there are a number of other applications also which are very interesting and very exciting. But at this point, for the awards at least, there's only 2 per category which receive this recognition, and with 1 winning the award. And I believe I mentioned it before, but I'll probably mention it a couple of times during this tutorial that our 2018 Global Summit will be held in Bergamo in Italy. And we're very glad to have the partnership of the local health protection agency in Bergamo, and a beautiful city, by the way. So what about all these other companies or applicants which do not make that final cut but have a good program? Well, that's why we created the Global Healthy Workplace certification. And so if you follow the process, first of all, and meet the criteria, and you meet a certain threshold, again, that after the assessment is judged, then you will receive the certification. So it means that you are a healthy workplace. You may not win the award, because that other company had just had that tiny bit more or better, quote unquote, than your company. However, if you meet that threshold, if you do meet the criteria, and again, they're not that easy to meet, but companies do meet them. And here are a few of our first wave of certified companies from last year. They did meet the criteria, and as you can see, some of them did meet or did win the award, like Nickel Industries, US, Gemini in Australia. But there are a number of others who applied and got the certification. Very, very good applications. And again, from different countries, as you can see here, from India, from Australia, from Pakistan, US. So, and there's some more coming in as we speak. So you do have the option of when you apply to also apply for the certification at the same time, same application. It's just you need to kind of check the box as the certification comes at a fee, and that's described on our website. Whether if you just apply, quote unquote, just apply for the awards, it's for free. So I just wanted to mention that. Key dates. What are the key dates this year? So our global awards application should be open by now, as you will see on the website. And our closing date is April the 23rd, so it should give you ample time. And at this stage, I'd just like to make a comment about, I do get this question, how much time do we need to enter or to submit the application? How long will it take? How much work is it? Great question, very difficult to answer. So my best answer always is, first of all, it depends on the company. Great answer, right? It depends. But it does depend on the organization of the information or the material. So if a company has been doing this for a while, they're very well organized, they have everything documented. As you know, some companies are better than others around that. They have processes in place. It'd probably be a little easier for them to pull this together and make it work or make it fit it kind of into the application. Companies who have kind of scattered approach, fragmented, and have to start gathering information from various different spots may take a little bit more time. Maybe even the global ones have a challenge there because there's different countries involved. But having said that, once you go into the application form on our website, you will see that it's manageable. It's not a huge amount of data to be provided. It's not like 30, 40, 50 pages, but at the same time, it's not just checking the box either. So it has to be credible, obviously, and companies have to be held accountable. They have to provide some supporting information or documentation to kind of show that what they're doing is actually happening, or so that's a big one for us too: accountability and credibility. So. That's my best answer to that question, but you'll see online. But I know that how employers are, they want to know how much work once they're getting into it. That's totally understandable. September 6 or 7, that's our Global Awards Summit. Somewhere in between, I don't have a firm date for that, but somewhere in between, the award finalists will be announced so that they actually know that they are invited to come to Bergamo. And our judges at that point obviously will have finished their first assessments in terms of determining the finalists. And the certifications, they're open year round. And in terms of kind of employers who actually do get certified by April 2018, they will automatically be entered into the awards program without having to provide more information or submit another application. So that's kind of convenient and easy to follow. All right, I'm coming to the end here, and this is my summary in terms of the 5 key things to watch out for, right? Everybody wants to have it simple and have 5 things to remember, maybe even less. but I kind of drove it down to 5. So first, again, describe your programs for all these 4 key areas. And if you're a larger company, you may have it kind of scattered in different functional units. Hopefully it's integrated under a bigger strategy. So these 4, don't miss them. Psychosocial work environment, for example, don't miss that area. Second one is prove that your program is a business strategy. So to what I said earlier, it's not an add-on, it's not a nice to have, but it's actually part of your business strategy. You want to create or want to keep your employees healthy, because you believe, it's going to increase productivity and it's part of your overall strategy. It's going to maybe customer service. There's so many ways you can link it to your business, obviously, and it's been shown improvement in research. And now you need to show how your company believes in it and actually has it kind of integrated into your business structure. Thirdly, again, the continuous improvement cycle. Document that. How are you following it with your planning and your programs, so it's kind of easy to see for the judges. And then with that, which is part of number 4, which is part of the improvement cycle, programs, program results or outcomes. So do show that. Do show us that. It doesn't have to be an ROI, return on investment. Which in some circles seems to be the gold standard, but there are many other ways to show results in terms of have you been able to kind of bend whatever curve you're trying to bend, but of course health is kind of the bottom line, that's for sure. And then I have to mention this, do not repeat information. I mean, I have repeated a lot of information here, but that's for a good reason. But in the application, we have had a number, over the years, applicants kind of bringing repeating information in the actual application. So now you see the same number 5, question 5, question 1. So kind of focus as best possible on the questions. What are they asking? And let's provide that information. So if we ask about leadership engagement, or worker involvement, do not start describing programs, right? Because that's under the program section. And if you're not clear about it, you always feel free to ask questions. You can always contact us, at info@globalhealthyworkplace.org. My own email address is there too. Feel free to contact me directly, no problem. And then, of course, the links are provided here where you can apply to the awards program, which you probably know by now because you've probably accessed it. So that is my brief tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I sure hope that you apply and wish you the best of success. And again, do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.